Hi everyone, it's Az here from HeelvsBabyface. Excited for some new Star Wars news? What's that I hear? You're not bothered in the slightest? Excellent! Because I doubt what I'm going to tell you today would have sparked any interest whatsoever. However, from a creator's perspective, and I mean from their perspective, it's so interesting to see how the process is so broken right now. And studios can't work out why people are rejecting their garbage. Mind-blowing. But this is literally a breakdown of what not to do when creating a new series. Once again, it's been compiled brilliantly by Data Racer, and he's just put some bullet points here, which we'll go into in the video. Leslie Headland, who of course is the former personal assistant of one Harvey Weinstein, who after she left his employment wrote a play about an abusive boss that took advantage of. Don't worry about it, folks. I'm sure she knew nothing. No, I'm joking. She knew everything. And didn't say a word. Didn't help a single person. In my humble opinion. Leslie Headland interview on her new show. Think Star Wars is about politics and fans' opinions aren't valid. Hired a writer who's never seen Star Wars. Female and queer representation is a top priority. Quote, I literally cry whenever I see it. From Leslie Headland, by the way. So it comes from AV Club. Leslie Headland's favorite Star Wars is the Star Wars you make your own. Just to break that down to people, it essentially means I'm making this for me. I'm a selfish, awful, terrible person, and I've been given a property that's beloved by tens of millions across the globe, but I'm going to make this show for me because I think the world revolves around me, my opinions, my political stance, my representation, however you want to phrase it. And that's exactly the first thing that you shouldn't do when you're creating a new show. That's the very thing that you should actually put to one side because you know that it's actively biased. Never let your own opinions get in the way of a good story. Well, too late. Too late now. Let's just have a look at some of these headlines from CBR, Comic Book Resources. The Acolyte showrunner, Leslie Headland, former personal assistant of Harvey Weinstein, explains why queer representation in the Star Wars universe is so important to her as a superfan. As a superfan? Hey, Leslie, what's your favorite Star Wars? My favorite Star Wars is all of Star Wars. She had a clue. She's not a superfan. She doesn't even know what bloody Star Wars is. Same place. Star Wars. The Acolyte showrunner, Leslie Headland, isn't worried about the passionate fan base of the franchise when it comes to crafting her show. She doesn't care about what you think because this show is for her. She's making it for her. So of course she doesn't care. The Acolyte Leslie Headland explains hiring a writer who hasn't watched Star Wars to help with her Disney Plus series. Yeah, I mean, I'd love to hear you explain that one away. Woof. And Star Wars Direct, the Acolyte writer Leslie Headland says she hopes to keep reflecting George Lucas's political themes in the Disney Plus series. It's truly what he was interested in talking about and looking at digging into. Ah, dear my goodness. So here's some of the bullet points, or some of the interview which Data Racer has highlighted that could do with some looking into. This is Leslie Headland, and that goes for ideology as well. I mean, it's funny because a lot of the feedback that I'll get, and I use the term feedback very lightly. No, you want to dismiss it, but you will get feedback, and you will get critical feedback easily, because, you know, based off what we're going to hear today, this is going to be a freaking disaster. Christian channel, no swearing. So when people critically come at you with legitimate points, you will dismiss them because you'll just class them as haters or whatever. It's just so boring now. So boring. Because you're so blatant and you're so obvious. And I use that term feedback very lightly. But when I do go on social media, the feedback is, don't make Star Wars political. I'm like George Lucas made it political. Those are political films. Now, I just want to carry on from Data Race's highlighting here, because she says war is by nature political. George Lucas's Star Wars is essentially World War II in space. It isn't inherently political. It was using the World War II kind of theme of a Nazi-esque empire versus the rebels. Now, of course, there's the dealings within that, but he wasn't using, per se, current day political themes, etc., to draw upon. No, he was using from bygone eras, something that we could all relate to and understand. The big, nasty juggernaut smashing through the unstoppable force, coming across now the immovable object, which was going to be the rebels. But with Leslie Headland and this group of people, you know that when they say politics, it's going to be strewn with Orange Man bad, with CRT. It's going to be all manner of absolute dross of current day political nonsense, which will date very, very quickly indeed. But who cares? No one's going to watch this shite anyway. Here's another snippet. To have the power when you're creating media to just put in certain types of people that maybe aren't necessarily in normal mainstream content or media is just. I know that for people who don't identify that way, it doesn't seem that important. But to us, it's huge. I literally saw an Orbitz commercial with two women going on vacation. And I was like, again, crying. It just hits you on a level that you don't know you're missing it until you see it. She's talking about homosexuality. She's talking about same-sex relations here. If your life is based upon you only relating to something that you see on a screen, something's wrong with you. And we'll go into this further here. There's something desperately wrong with this person. Desperately wrong. Star Wars has had fans for 40 years or so, you know, give or take. A little bit more. And of course, up until recently, and I say recently, I'm talking about the sequel trilogy, of course. It's had plenty of representation within the films, and its fan base has been a broad spectrum of people from all over the world. It's not just been a procession of white guys going, oh, I relate to Luke Skywalker because he's fucking white. Girls, boys, people of all colors, because It's about the character, the content of the character. Not the color of the skin. Not who they sleep with. It's the content of the character that people relate to. It's the themes that people relate to. And so if you can only relate to the superficial, what does that say about you? Oh yeah, it says that you're just superficial and selfish and self-centered and self-absorbed, which is probably why you're just making a series for you. Let's pick out another hit point here. There were people, this is actually as regards to getting the writer's room together and somebody who didn't even watch Star Wars. There were people like myself that were like later in life Dave Filoni acolytes, whatever. I literally had one writer that was like, I have never seen any of them, and I've never seen any Star Wars media. And she, of course it's a woman, of course it is. Now, women, I know women watch this show. You know that's not a stab at you. That's a stab at somebody like Leslie Headland, who, of course, just wants to hire most likely gay women onto the panel and doesn't want to have any other representation out there because she doesn't want any other ideas out of her own sphere. So I think it's pretty logical to assume that. But, of course, she's just going to bring in the whammons. Remember, the Force is female. And she's texting me before we started the room. She's like, Luke and Leia are brother and sister. What the laughs? Oh my God, Z's cute. Oh, go fuck yourself. You have to feel like it's speaking directly to you, regardless of what you might be going through. At what point in your life you're going through it. That being said, as somebody that is a lesbian, every time I see a gay or queer representation in media, I scream with happiness. Well, that's mental illness, isn't it? Every time a straight couple comes on screen, do you see me going, oh my God! Oh my God! He puts a penis in a vagina! It's superficial and it's nonsense. You think you deserve a medal for this shit? Tapped. Let's go another one. I saw a video of a little girl dressed up as Rey at Disney World or Disneyland or whatever it was. Of course, whatever it was, you'd have no clue, do you? You don't know anything about Star Wars. My wife sent me the video. It was so cute. I'm watching it and I'm kind of like, okay, cute. Yeah, got it. And then I just started crying again. Princess fucking Leia. Okay, let's move on to the last one. Probably, well, the sort of thing here is about gravitating towards queer characters. Probably, I mean, one of the things we did in our writer's room to kind of break the ice was ask who's your favorite Star Wars character. And you could tell the people, and you could tell that people, when I said mine, were like, well, yeah, you're gay. That's just because you're gay, but it's true. So they didn't actually say it. You concocted in your mind that they said it. Yeah, this is going to be a disaster and a mitigated disaster. And it's not because she's gay. It's because it's the be-all and end-all for her. It's the be-all and end-all is representation and pushing, no doubt, far-left ideology. So you got the political aspect and forget it. Forget it. I think this is, when Data Racer says this is going to be a train wreck, I think that is, oh boy, I think that's putting it so lightly. I think this is going to be an absolute and mitigated disaster. What she said there should put every single Star Wars fan off, to be perfectly frank. It seems that she just wants to make a show for herself because she's a selfish cow who let Harvey Weinstein get away with. Okay, I hope you enjoyed the vid. If you did, do get a thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel. Follow me on social media and YouTube for live streaming links. They're in the description box down below, and I'll be back with some more stuff very soon. You take care. Bye for now.